Good evening, everybody. It's Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. Let me just turn on a light here. That's a little better. So anyway, I was looking for free images online about rat snitches, and I came across this website. It's called who'sarat.com. It is a paid membership site, but let me show you what it looks like, folks. It says who'sarat.com. It's a database of police informants and corrupt police and agents. So there's a login here, and there's latest news. And then there is a search and who they're affiliated, about us, contact us. There's the membership login, and it's saying who'sarat.com is the largest online database of police informants, jailhouse snitches, rats, squealers, traitors, narcs, tinks, profilers, and DEA spies. Members have full access to more than 5,000 snitch profiles, many with a photo of the real rat, as well as secret documents and info like cooperation agreements, the area the traitor resides, and the specific law enforcement agency, local police, DEA, or government agency that the informant colludes with. Isn't that interesting? Who'sarat.com is a very important, one-of-a-kind, legal investigative resource tool for the public. Information is power, and the government, prosecutors, and police should not be the only ones to possess that power. The public has a right to know. Click here to become a member. Now, who'sarat.com has many features, such as a comprehensive profiles and photos of more than 5,000 snitches, top secret documents, corrupt police officer database. I would join just for that, wouldn't you, folks? Member recommended lawyers. Oh yeah, that's got to be a good one too. Relevant case law and news. New informant rat profiles added daily. Oh, could you imagine, folks? I don't know. See, I tried to do a search, and it doesn't even give you like a little clue if whether or not that they're viable. I mean, I would have to go and look at if anybody else has used them before, but I thought it was really interesting, and here's what it looks like, folks. But anyway, that is not the topic for this evening. It's part of the topic. It's 12:08 a.m., June 22, 2023. Please hit the thumbs up. What I want to discuss is the tactics of the Stasi. Actually, after reading their tactics and knowing that historically they were the most brutal, corrupt military state in the history of the world, I noticed that there were several things that were missing from their program. And, I'm comparing the tactics of the Stasi to the targeted individual program, the tactics that are utilized on many targets, many watch-listed people, many people who are secretly, covertly placed under surveillance, and all the repressive tactics aimed at suppressing dissidents, etc. But I'm going to read to you the tactics used by the Stasi. And then when I finish, I'll tell you what's missing. But you'll know what's missing after I complete it. And knowing what is missing and what has been included directed at targets under surveillance on the watch list program. If the Stasi were the most brutal group in history of the world, the targeted individual program makes the Stasi look like kindergarten. So the Stasi was also called the Ministry for State Security. It was the official secret police and intelligence agency of East Germany during the Cold War. The Stasi was notorious for its extensive surveillance and repressive tactics aimed at suppressing dissident and maintaining control over the population. Here are some of the key tactics employed by the Stasi. And when I read this, consider the tactics utilized by my favorite Bureau of Instigation and how similar they are. Number 1, surveillance and informants. The Stasi built an extensive network of informants within East German society. It is estimated that 1 in every 7 East Germans collaborated with the Stasi in some capacity. Citizens were encouraged to spy on their neighbors, colleagues, and even family members, fostering an atmosphere of mistrust and paranoia. 2, spying and wiretapping. Oh, we know who likes to do that, folks. The Stasi conducted widespread surveillance on its own citizens, monitoring phone calls, intercepting mail, and infiltrating organizations and social groups. They employed advanced surveillance technology, including hidden microphones and cameras, to gather information on individuals and groups deemed potential threats to the state. Wow, that sounds a lot like that former chief of police in Manalapan who labeled his own police officer an enemy of the state. Number 3, Zersetzung, disruption. Zersetzung was a tactic employed by the Stasi to undermine and destabilize individuals considered dissidents or enemies of the state. This tactic involves psychological warfare, including harassment, psychological manipulation, spreading false rumors, destroying personal relationships, and interfering with professional and personal lives. Number 4, repression and interrogation. The Stasi employed intimidation, arbitrary arrests, and physical violence to suppress opposition. They utilized secret prisons and interrogation centers where individuals deemed threats to the regime were subjected to torture, psychological pressure, and other forms of abuse. I don't know. That sounds a lot like what's going on today. Anybody ever hear about Julian Assange? How about that Batman guy, James Holmes? Number 5, control of information. The Stasi tightly controlled information flow within East Germany. Sounds like Facebook. They censored media, restricted access to foreign publications, and disseminated propaganda to promote the regime's ideology and suppress dissenting voices. 6, infiltration of opposition groups. The The Stasi infiltrated opposition groups and organizations seeking to disrupt and undermine their activities from within. They aimed to control and manipulate opposition movements, often by spreading disinformation, sowing internal divisions, and discrediting leaders. I don't know, that sounds a lot like our current political atmosphere. Number 7, secrecy and disguise. The Stasi operated in secrecy and used various disguises and false identities to carry out their activities. They utilized aliases, false passports, and covert operations to protect their agents and maintain an element of surprise. That sounds a lot like my favorite Bureau of Instigation. The tactics employed by the Stasi were far-reaching and had a profound impact on East German society, creating a climate of fear, suspicion, and conformity. The Stasi methods violated human rights and privacy, and their actions continue to be remembered as a dark chapter in German history. Okay, folks. So, what's missing from their repertoire? Let's see. How about pulsed microwave radiation? How about through-the-wall radar? How about lasers and tasers? How about remote neural monitoring? How about implants, nanotechnology, nanodust? How about pet murder, pet experimentation, covert experimentation? How about radio frequencies, entrancement? How about voice-to-skull technology? Wow. I would venture to say that the FBI's terrorist watch list and FISA courts by far exceeds anything that the Stasi remotely did to torture East German society. In addition, that we're not just talking about one city or state or town. We're talking about not only the entire country, but this is happening around the world. How about drones? Do you think they had drones? How about aerosols, neurotoxins? Do you think the Stasi had access to drones that spray neurotoxins? Or how about those DARPA insects? You know, those little spy bugs? Do you think they had access to that technology? How about cloaking devices? Do you think the Stasi had access to cloaking devices where they could hide out behind your trees and blend into the background? Do you think that they pretended to be owls hooting across people's property so they could communicate with each other while they're trespassing? What do you think, folks? I'm curious. What did I leave out? Please leave your comments down below. And tell me, do you think the German Stasi were worse than the FBI's terrorist watch list program? Do you think that the Stasi human trafficked East German society? Or did they just spy on them and spread rumors and make their lives miserable? I'm curious. History tends to repeat itself, but technology has certainly advanced since the East German Stasi. So, folks, on that grim note, I'm curious. I believe that this is a really important topic, and it needs to be exposed that everybody knows what happened with the Stasis. Everybody knows how horrific it was. There's even a museum. I think I posted that a couple of weeks ago in an article. There's a Stasi museum where there are books and records. All the records that were kept on the general population that some family members were searching for. What do you think future generations, if there are any, what do you think future generations, when they look back on this time, what do you think they're going to find? Do you think that the criminals will just destroy all the evidence? There's just so much of it. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Welcome to my channel, newcomers. And please leave a comment down below. Do you think that what I described about the tactics in East Germany during the Stasi regime, do you think that was worse than what targeted individuals are experiencing now? Because there appears to have been no brain manipulation using technology. I'm curious. I didn't read anything. I've read nothing about them that says that they were studying and stealing DNA. I didn't read anything about hypnotizing the population. I did not read anything about implanting their population. I didn't read anything about brain entrancements or V2K. I'm curious. And, I'm not a history buff. So if you know more than what I've read, please feel free to share it. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, signing off for now.